Sandra, and welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, helpful, insightful, or enjoyable in any way, shape or form. If you don't know who I am Sandra, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book, which is 47 asexual real life stories. So a quick video for you right here, right now. When should an asexual person be in a relationship with a sexual? So as we're only 1% of the population, it's pretty much a given that some of us are going to end up relationships with sexual people rather than asexual people. So when should you think about being in a relationship with a sexual person if you are in fact asexual? So asexuality is a sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction. This doesn't mean to say that some asexuals won't participate in sex. This doesn't mean to say that every asexual hates sex. So for a start, if you are an asexual person who doesn't mind having sex, then that would be an ideal opportunity for you to get involved with a sexual person if you want to. So first of all, you have to decide if you want to be with a sexual person. If that's something that would appeal to you, that you would like, that you don't mind, first of all, that's what you have to think. Would you like to be in a relationship with a sexual person? And then you have to, obviously know the sexual person for a long time, because it doesn't matter what sexuality you're interested in at the end of what sexual orientation. At the end of the day, you need to get a person who's trustworthy, who's reliable, who's honest, who's kind, who's caring, who's very, very good to you. You want to be treated with respect, right? So even if you're an asexual person who doesn't mind having sex, who doesn't mind being in a sexual relationship, you still need a very good degree of trust there for them not to push your boundaries, for them not to, be horrible to you or abuse you in any way. This is true for any sexuality. So before you get into a relationship with anyone, no matter who it is, whether it's another asexual or a sexual person, you must first take care of your own well-being. This means taking care of you first and then getting to know another person gradually over a long period of time. You don't know what someone's really like a lot of the time. A lot of people, particularly online, which is how most asexuals find their potential partner, there's a lot of people online that are fake, that are scammers, or that don't tell you the total truth about themselves. And there's those who genuinely do show who they are, but you can't fully know them because you're only seeing a tiny fraction of who they are. Hi, Liam. Hi, Sandra. I was excited to see you. Oh, thank you, Liam, so much. It's a very short video today because I am Skyping my best friend, Sam. So that's why I've done it at the earlier time. Thanks for the thumbs up. Lovely to see you, as always. Always lovely to see you. So yeah, going back to what I was saying then, you must make sure that you know this person over a long period of time, because some people, they are genuine themselves, but you only see them at a fraction of what they're really like in the real world all the time. If you're only seeing them online every few hours or talking to them for a little period of time, you can't really get to know someone fully unless you eventually see them in person. And once you see them in person, again, you can see all different sides to someone. Someone behaves sometimes differently with their friends to how they are with their family, to how they are in work. You've got all these different versions. I know that I myself, pretty much wherever I go, you don't really see a different version of me. People are quite shocked. They're like, you're like this in this scenario? I'm like, yeah, because I just be myself, so what you see really is what you get with me. You see me on my channel, I'm like this in person as well. There's no really separate distinction with me, but that's very, very unusual. Most people are different in different case scenarios, right? And you can always see a fraction of what they're like. You have to get to know them over a long period of time. So whatever sexual orientation it is, but particularly if you're an asexual who doesn't mind sex, but maybe you've got to be more careful. Oh, hi, Sam. I know. Don't worry. I've got 5 minutes and then I know I've got to Skype you. So, make sure your safety is of utmost paramount importance. So And also, if you're an asexual who does like having sex or doesn't mind having sex or doesn't mind doing that, you have to also negotiate with the sexual person how often, how frequently you want to do that. Because in my experience, the asexuals that don't mind having sex, they do not usually like it as frequently as the sexual people do. So an asexual might like it once a week or don't mind it once a week, but the sexual person might want it like 3 times a week or 3 times a day. You know, so you've got to understand there are people with different sexual appetites there. So you've got to understand the individual sexual person before you actually think about getting into a relationship. So you've got 2 things here. One is, are you comfortable about sex? If you get into a relationship with a sexual, as most sexuals want sex. And 2 is, you know, do you really know the person? Do you know who they are? You need to give it lots and lots of time. 3, have you negotiate with the person how often you want sex, or have you talked to them and discussed with them about it? You need to do all these things before you get into a relationship with a sexual person. You know, all this needs to be discussed. You know, if you cannot talk about your asexuality and your sexual preferences, whatever they are, with a sexual person, don't get into a relationship with that sexual person because they're not right for you. A relationship leaves you very vulnerable. It needs high communication skills, whatever sexual orientation you are. And if you can't tell someone you're asexual, just think about what else you can't speak to them about, what else you're going to be afraid to talk to them about. That is not a healthy relationship. That is a relationship based on fear, not on love, not on caringness, not on compassion, not on kindness. It's a relationship based on fear before you even start getting into the relationship thoroughly. So if this is the way you feel and you can't talk to this person about your asexuality or even negotiate with them how often you might have sex with them, then don't bother. Also, if you're a sex repulsed asexual, you know, the majority of sexuals will not be suitable for you. I wish I could sugarcoat it for you and say, yeah, there's loads of the sexuals out there that can live without sex. The fact is they can't. The majority of them need sex. Not all of them, but the majority do. They love it, they want it, they need it. Right? And a relationship without sex with them is something they usually don't want. So a lot of the time they will cheat. You know, I'm doing it, I'm saying this to be kind to you, even though it sounds harsh, because this is my experience, and this is my experience of not just my experience, but other people's as well. But there are a rare few sexuals that can live without sex, that sex is not important to them. They have a low sex drive, or they just choose a different type of life, but they have to repress their sexual feelings. You know, they're not like asexuals who naturally don't want sex. They have to repress their sexual urges, try to do a lot of mind stuff to get their mind sorted so that they channel that sexual energy in another way. You know, and they refrain from doing that, you know, so they have to plow that energy into something else, you know. So there are people who can do that. There's celibates, obviously, people who are voluntary, abstain from sex as well. There's people with disabilities who can't have sex that'll still be sexual in orientation, you know, and there'll still be, like I said, some sexuals that are celibate. But if they're celibate just until they get married, then you get married to them, they want sex 3 times a day, that's not going to be any good for you. So proceed with caution. You know, make sure you feel comfortable with a sexual person. You ask lots of questions. You feel comfortable about talking about your asexuality. You'll feel comfortable talking about sex with them. If you definitely are sex repulsed asexual, make that clear in the beginning. Be fair to them, just like you want them to be fair to you. Tell them that's how you are. And if they don't like it, you go your separate ways. Do not be in a relationship with someone for years and it be rocky up and down because you both want different things, because you are starving yourself of the opportunity and chance to meet someone who's like yourself down the line, you know, just for short-term gain, which isn't really gain. It's just a rocky road, right? So don't put yourself in that position. Move on, constantly move on. If you want to be with a sexual person, but you're not finding the right sexual person for you because you don't want sex, just move on, because you might find someone who can live without sex. That's what I'm saying. Don't starve yourself of the opportunity to be with an asexual. There are thousands of asexuals and there's more and more coming out all the time. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, and you might end up with the beautiful asexual you've always dreamed of. I'm going to leave that for there. I've got to Skype my best friend, Sam. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that great big bell icon. Take care. Bye. Bye, Liam. Bye, Sam. See you in a minute, Sam.